This spring training, MLB is trying out the ABS automatic ball strike challenge system, allowing players to question if called balls were strikes or called strikes were balls. This can be challenged by both the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter, but it has to be done immediately without any help from anywhere else. And I'm an old traditional fan, and I want to tell you that I don't hate this as much as I think I should probably hate it. I mean, I'm the old fan who yells at clouds and wishes the designated hitter was back. But honestly, I'm actually pretty good with it, at least the basics of what I've seen so far. Now, let me give a couple caveats. One, I do think this could completely ruin the game if we went to a complete robo-ump. There is no way this old fan would ever want to see everything as a robo-ump. I think that there is a skill and there is an art to pitching that should not be lost, and that would be lost if we completely moved away from having that human element. And I want to say one other thing. I think we need to continue to evaluate umpires and make sure that the best umpires are getting the best games and that umpires are constantly being evaluated to make better calls. But can I tell you, there is nothing more frustrating than seeing a well-disciplined hitter get called out on a third strike that was clearly a ball. I mean, I can tell you this as a parent of a little leaguer, I get frustrated already. And that's not dealing with anything that has any sort of stakes at all. My son the other day had a strike called on him where the ball bounced on the plate. I'm thinking, I just want to challenge that. That's got to be easy to challenge. And so the truth is, I think this is going to help the hitters that have the absolute best eyes. I think it's also going to just keep those occasional brain farts that umpires have, and we've probably all seen those videos where an umpire just absolutely blows a call with a pitch just right down the middle. And it does make a change in the at bat for sure. Just the other day in New York Mets spring training game, Pete Alonso challenged a ball that was called a strike and it was overturned, called a ball. He ended up getting on base and it ended up sparking a rally for the Mets. And so this is a thing that can genuinely change things. And I understand the people who don't want to see this, but honestly, I can say this doesn't seem to slow down the game. In fact, as a fan, on controversial pitches that are not challenged, I'd love to still know where they fall within the system. And I would be interested to see over a period of time how consistently these challenges are correct. Obviously, there will come a point in time in, say, the ninth inning where teams might as well challenge if they haven't done that. But there'll be a variety of strategies that are going to come out from this, and as to whether or not you use your challenge right away, even if it's maybe risky that you don't want to lose it for the rest of the game, or whether you hold on to it and let something that seems like a pretty obvious bad call go by, but you're just too scared to do those things. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out. And obviously, this is not Major League ready yet. There's still more testing to undergo and they're going to be evaluating everything. But I can tell you that this is one thing that me as a traditional fan, I'm okay with. And so I'd really like to know what you guys are thinking. Please hit that like and subscribe. We are MetropoliFins. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel covering baseball and football from a Miami Dolphins and New York Mets fan perspective. I just think broadly, this is going to keep the worst of the worst calls out of the game. And I think if you see any form, because one of the things I've seen people critical of is that, well, umpires are going to retaliate later in the game once the team is out of challenge. Look, as long as you're providing accountability, I think the vast majority of umpires want to see the calls correctly. And honestly, I believe that this could help umpires in the long run because they're going to start to realize, hey, that pitch that I consistently call as a ball is consistently challenged and overturned. That's going to help them figure their strike zone out better. Or the same thing, that pitch that looks like a strike to me, every time it gets challenged, it gets overturned and called a ball. I mean, these aren't ones that are really there. Now, if I could make one suggestion, I don't know if there would be room for this, maybe not, but at least something to think about is that maybe there should be a margin of error around the strike zone so that way only truly egregious calls. I would hate to see the difference of like a quarter of an inch be maybe the reason why a major at bat was overturned. But then again, the other part of me says, hey, you know what? As long as they're getting the call right, that's what it is. So let me know down in the comments below. Are you like me? Are you okay with this, with what you've seen so far? Or do you want to just stick with the completely traditional and just being able to yell and argue with the umpires? I wonder too, is it going to change the amount of arguments that we have over balls and strikes because simply teams could just challenge it? I don't know. That remains to be seen. Obviously, everything in spring training is kind of to be taken with a grain of salt. And so it is fun watching. And it seems to me that a lot of the players who are familiar with this, especially these minor leaguers, are very bold in feeling comfortable with challenging these things because they've had that maybe in some of their minor league games as well. Let's see. Do you think this is going to break the MLB, or do you think it's going to take over the MLB in the years ahead?